Hello, welcome to another battle report. This is a 2,500 point match between my Empire Army and Anthony from the Sustainable Center's Bretonnia Army. I want to apologize. This is the first match we played with Ant's Army. It's not finished, so there's a lot of incomplete models, and it might be tough to see exactly what's going on. But I'm going to try to take the time to explain it. Ant's working really hard on getting this army up to snuff, but I just wanted to get that out of the way. If that bothers you, it might not be a good battle report for you. I picked up this bottle of Sam Adams Griffin's Bow purely because Griffins are everywhere in my army, and I figured it'd be a good drink to enjoy while playing this game. We used a special rule set from the 2011 Adepticon book. This rule set is all about the honor of the commander and your general's personal honor and managing the morale of your forces. There are two special rules which we immediately promptly forgot about, and one of them actually never had any effect on the game. The other one might have if we had remembered to use it. But we're going to be using this mission again because it's pretty cool thematically, and it helps to mix it up without putting a lot of restrictions on deployment. The rule is that your BSB can grant a reroll from within 12 inches to a failed leadership check only once per turn, and you can decide which one to re-roll when it happens. And your general broadcasts his leadership 12 inches until he suffers his first unsaved wound caused by an enemy, at which point his pride is hurt, and now his leadership is only broadcast 4 inches. So that's kind of fluffy and cool. We figured that it fits to two human armies going against each other. So we're probably going to use that rule set again in the future. There are some other ones that do wacky stuff to magic, wacky stuff to other deployment types. But that one seems pretty cool. Here's a long view of deployment. And here's what it looks like from Ant's side of the table. A few things, we forgot scatter die for this match, so we just use a regular die where we would do the cardinal directions on a 1, 2, 3, and 4 with a 5 or 6 counting as a hit. It's not perfect, and it results in very direct scatters, but we just had to make do since we couldn't find a scatter die. Those two forests in the middle of the table are mysterious forests. And for Ant's army, on the left side, he had a unit of Knights Errant with the Errantry banner. He's got a Knight of the Realm unit packed with characters. There are 4 characters in that unit. A Lord with Heroic Killing Blow, and then the sword that gives him +3 attacks. His Paladin BSB with a 1-up rerollable armor save. A Paladin with a 1-up rerollable armor save and the Shrieking Blade, so the unit causes fear. And then in the second rank, he's got his level 4 Damsel, Lore of Life, with the Dispel Scroll and the Crown of Command. He's got another unit of Knights of the Realm. I believe the realm, the character block has the standard of discipline, so everything's leadership 10. And then 50 peasants, or 40 peasants, or however many peasants that is, with a level 2 Lore of Beasts with the prayer icon. So he's going to use that first turn so that every unit will have, every unit besides the Mounted Yeoman, I think, gets the Blessing of the Lady. And then he's got the Mounted Yeoman on the right. Yeah, you can see them on the right, and the 3 Pegasus Knights. They haven't been based yet, and honestly, their base orientation doesn't make a huge deal, and this doesn't really matter much in this game. So we just laid them on the table to show roughly where they are, and then 2 trebuchets in the back corner. For my army, I had 3 demigryphs, a cannon on the hill, 38 great swords, 2 characters in the unit, a warrior priest, hand weapon, and shield, and my level 4 wizard, Lore of Shadow, with the 4-up ward save and a Dispel Scroll. The steam tank is behind the great swords with the Hurricanum. Then 29 swordsmen with my BSB's got a 1-up armor save with a 6-up ward save and a great weapon. Then I got a block of 14 inner circle knights with a warrior priest. The warrior priest has a 1-up armor save and Crown of Command, making the unit stubborn. And then my 5 pistoliers. So Vanguard moves, the Pegasus Knights and the Mounted Yeoman move up that way, and my pistoliers cut across the table, heading straight for those war machines. His army prays, so I go first. Everything advances in a rough line. The demigryphs push out to the right. I can't really stop the Pegasus Knights. They're going to be You know, they're going to be charging not this turn, but next turn definitely. So there's no sense in trying to deal with them. So I'm just going straight for the trebuchets. I actually declare a charge with demigriffs on the mounted yeoman. It's pretty short, so he just flees. There's no chance of redirecting onto the peg knights. That's just a failed charge for me. The block of knights swift reforms and gets the heck out of the charge arc of the errantry knights. And you know, up until this point, we'd really thought that when you swift reform, you can still do a full move action, which is marching, but you're actually not allowed to do that. It's better to just march and wheel. So I mean, this move didn't really capitalize on the fact that it was a swift reform so much as saving me like a couple inches of wheeling or whatever. But going forward, that's something to know because we'd been playing with the wrong rules. Didn't make a huge effort, a huge difference in this game, and we didn't encounter it again. But something to keep in mind. So here's what it looks like at the beginning of Bretonnia turn 1. I think I actually cast. I think I cast Pit of Shade successfully turn 1. Yeah. Oh yeah, here it is. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I got Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma off on the Knights of the Realm unit, and then I got Pit of Shades off. Not irresistibly. Anthony actually just rolled 6 dice, and I don't think he was able to dispel it. Oh no, maybe I did get it off irresistibly. Either way, it doesn't matter. I didn't take a wound on my general or anything like that. The large templates scattered off of the Knights of the Realm unit with the general and ended up killing maybe 1 or 2 knights. He made every single initiative check he had to make on the Knights of the Realm unit that scattered onto. Maybe he killed a couple peasants, but not a big deal. And then I shot the cannon at one of his trebuchets, bounced and stuck in the ground. So uneventful first turn for Empire. And I'm starting to feel really apprehensive. I don't play Bretonnia. I've only played Bretonnia maybe once before since I've been playing, fantasy. So in like almost 4 years now, I've only played Bretonnia like once, and I'm feeling like those charge ranges are just absurdly long. I don't know how I'm ever going to dictate when battles happen, but I tried to form up a solid line in the midfield, and we'll see what happens. So, yeah, I think this is the shot at the beginning. This is what the table looked like at the beginning of Bretonnia turn 1. He reforms with the errant knights after passing their leadership check to try and charge at me, and then backs them up a few inches. He attempts to regrow in the magic phase. He attempts to regrow the knights that he lost. Irresistibly casts the regrowth, gets the result, which puts the small template down, and it then kills more knights than he regrowed casting the spell. So it was pretty much didn't make a huge effect on the battle, but it was kind of funny that he irresistibly cast regrowth to lose the knights that he was getting back from the regrowth. Just kind of silly stuff that happens. Otherwise, the Lord's unit and the Realm Knights just sort of shimmy a little forward down the hill to hold the line. The mounted yeomen do not rally, so they keep fleeing. In his shooting phase, he lands 1 trebuchet dead on the greatswords unit, kills a bunch of them. The other one scatters directly onto the steam tank. However, he rolls a 1, so he doesn't wound the steam tank. Empire turn 2. I advance slightly with the knights. He has to roll like I think a 9 to get the charge off. I know that's not very unlikely given that he has Swift Stride, but I couldn't get I was out of charge range. I needed to roll maybe I need to roll double 6s or whatever, which is not going to happen. And I couldn't. I just had to make that bet that he wouldn't be able to do it. I marched my swordsman up into the forest. It's a wild wood, so on a 4-up, they'll take D6 strength 4 hits in the magic phase. It didn't happen the first turn. The steam tank moves up. It has 1 steam point left to shoot a cannon, and the great swords move up an angle into those woods, which are causing fear. It's pretty good positioning for me because he won't be steadfast with any units that are in the woods, and the great swords don't care. Pistoliers and the demigriffs just beeline. Yeah, this is what that looks like in the shooting phase. I kill a couple of mounted yeomen with pistolier shots. I fire the cannon from the steam tank. I think it bounces or sticks in the ground right on top of the prophetess. He makes his lookout, sir, and it kills a mook or two. I think I only get like one knight with the cannon, so kind of disappointing. Beginning of Bretonnia, turn 2, he declares a charge with the Knights Errant and makes it. So this is already going to be bad news bears. He declares a charge with his Lord's unit on the steam tank. It's either going to be heroic killing blow or not. I don't really have much control over that. I'm not really worried about it, and I'm set up for a flank charge with the swordsman. But you know, if he rolls a heroic killing blow, he's got 7 attacks with the +3 attack swords. So you know, that's worrisome. But I kind of counted on just road blocking his major unit with that and flank charging it. However, he does get both the Knights of the Realm and the peasants into the greatswords. That's not good. I'm either unit I would beat on their own. I just it's a lot of strength 6 attacks or strength 5 attacks or whatever from the Knights of the Realm. It's just a lot of wounds. And the Pegasus Knights charge my cannon. Yeah, okay. I don't know why this is out of order like this. Oh, I killed a bunch of pistoliers. I killed some mounted yeomen with pistolier shots. He reformed in turn 2, fired a short bow, and killed a pistolier. That's what's going on here. Pegasus Knights kill the cannon, fail their check to restrain, and flee off the board. So we just turned them over in place. They'll come back on turn 3. The Errant Knights kill my warrior priest, so that unit's no longer stubborn. They only kill like 1 other knight, but they have a charge down a hill, wounds caused, 3 ranks. It's enough to have me testing really badly. I don't make it, run away, and get run down. If I was smarter, I would have issued a challenge with my warrior priest, thus limiting the number of attacks to only like 3, making it very unlikely that he'd die. I had gotten the 5-up ward save on this unit. With a 1-up armor save and a 5-up ward save, it's pretty damn durable. Exactly the same, basically, as Bretonnian Knights. I didn't know that Bretonnian champions have to accept challenges or they lose the blessing of the lady. I didn't really think about it, and I just kind of let him run a train on my warrior priest with the entire left flank of that, with the entire left side of that lance. So it was something like with the champion who was catty-cornered on the warrior priest, like 7 strength, 6 attacks, and then all those horse kicks. So it was like, I had to make something like 5 4-up, 5-ups, and that's just bad news. It can't. He's a 2-wound character. He can't absorb that kind of punishment. So lesson learned. Lost a 400-point unit, including and a 100-point character or whatever, just like that to his knights in training. Tough. This is a tough start. And then he rolls not 1 but 2 heroic killing blows on the steam tank with his lord. They overrun into the Celestial Hurricanum. Those 2 wounds, I believe, are from a trebuchet shot. When he was actually earlier in the turn when he was in base contact with the steam tank, the Hurricanum was open for shooting, so he took a treb shot. In close combat, he does a handful of wounds. He puts 6 attacks on the warrior priest from the peasants. They just roll like beasts, and then I fail all my saves. So I lose my warrior priest. I got no hatred this turn. The knights actually have a kind of a weak showing. They only kill 6 guys with however many attacks plus however many horse kicks they get in on this turn. But that's a terrible start. If I have hatred going into this combat, plus the Hurricanum, I'm hitting on 2s or hitting on 3s with the whole unit with a reroll. I might actually beat them just in combat res, but not without any buffs and not without hatred. So I fail. I lose combat, but I'm stubborn. Leadership 10. We hold the line. Beginning Empire turn, I charge the swordsman into the flank of the general's unit. The demigriffs and the pistoliers charge their respective trebuchets and easily beat them in combat. The demigriffs restrain and reform. The pistoliers fail and run off the table, so they'll come back on turn 4. In combat, I choose to resolve the Greatsword's combat first to keep the Hurricanum alive. The Greatswords don't, they kill a couple peasants. They lose a few dudes. I don't think, I think I whiffed. I'm currently in a challenge between the Greatswords unit champion and the Knights of the Realm unit champion, and they're just having a tickle fight. Nobody's wounding anybody. The Lord does not heroic killing blow the Hurricanum, but he puts 2 wounds on it, which is then killed off by the remainder of the Realm Knights. I think both Paladins do the dirty work, and then he just fails to cause wounds on the Swordsman. He might have used just all of the charging lance attacks on the Hurricanum. I can't remember what the story was. I think it was like alive with 1 wound and he needed to finish it off, so nobody attacked the Swordsman. However, the Swordsman, like my BSB, has a great weapon, but he just struck out attacking his BSB. And, I'm strength 3. He's got a 2-up armor save and a 6-up ward save. It's not very likely to cause wounds. So he just takes it. This is what the board looks like at the end of Empire turn 3, beginning of Bretonnia turn 3. At the end of that combat, he combat reforms the Knights of the Realm and the character unit to bring more guys into base contact with the Swordsman. He moves the Knights Errant into charge range on the rear of the Swordsman unit. The Swordsman unit had taken some wounds from the Wildwood in the Magic phase. That's why some models are missing. And the Mounted Yeomen move up to squat in front of the Demigryphs and block them from charging. Pegasus Knights fly back on the board into the back of the Greatswords unit, but they can't charge this turn. They're just getting ready. In combat, I issue a challenge with my BSB. He accepts with his Lord and heroic killing blows him. The rest of the knights and both characters and all that only manage to cause like 3 more wounds. I cause no wounds with the Swordsman. A couple guys have to put attacks on characters, and his guys have a 1-up re-rollable, so they're never getting hit by strength 3. And then he just, he makes his saves and his ward saves, so that just causes no wounds. However, I'm steadfast, leadership 10 from the general, so we hold. In combat, the Greatswords actually put out a really good showing this turn and managed to win combat. The peasants pass with I think they need like a 3 or 4 or something like that, and Anthony gets it with the peasants, but fails with the Knights of the Realm. They break, run away. I can't pursue them. I reform to get more attacks in on the peasants. The Demigryphs charge the Mounted Yeomen and just, plow right through them, no questions asked. Pistoliers move up to the back to harass the to harass those Knights of the Realm. I couldn't charge with them this turn because they just moved onto the board. So here's what it looks like from this angle. In Magic, we get the Withering off, -3 to toughness on the Realm Knights. It's good. Even the Swordsmen are now wounding on a 2-up. It just doesn't matter because he gets his full armor save, 2-up armor save, and then the ward saves. So even though I wound with a fair number of attacks, I think I have 11 attacks with the unit champion, and I probably wounded with like 8 of them or whatever. He just makes all the saves. It's very easy to do when you're only rolling Terminator armor. And in combat here, the peasants just roll like beasts, and then I make no armor saves with my greatswords. So I could probably have broken them this turn if I hadn't taken 5 casualties before it even got, before my guys even swung. He issues a challenge with the damsel. I accept with the wizard. They're just gonna have a slap fight. I think. Yeah, here's the picture showing that I had moved into contact with the damsel for that, and they just miss each other, do no wounds. And you can see that I cause a few wounds on the peasants, and Anthony wins combat. I hold with leadership 10, and he combat reforms to get more attacks in. The Knights of the Realm rally at the beginning of Bretonnia, turn 4? Yes. The Demigryphs overrun and are on top of the hill now. Here's just a nice dramatic shot of the swordsman getting plowed from behind by the Knights Errant as they charge in. Now, what's interesting about that is if you remember how big that Knights Errant unit was, it took like no casualties when it bowled over my inner circle knights. Well, oh, and pardon me, and the Pegasus Knights charged into the rear with the great swords. But look at the size of that Knights Errant unit now. Yeah, Anthony took 6 dangerous terrain checks, failed, and then made like no ward saves. So he lost more knights from dangerous terrain checks charging through those woods than he did in combat basically so far across the board. That's this game, though, I gotta tell you. Yeah, there you go, 6 knights total from dangerous from the woods. In Ant's Magic Phase, he gets off Shield of Thorns on the Lord's unit of Realm Knights in combat with the Swordsman, and he gets Flesh to Stone on the Peasants, making them Toughness 5. I take 2 casualties from the Wildwood, and the Pegasus Knights, Peasants, and then Stomps at the end eliminate the entire Great Swords unit down to the last man. I test on my leadership and I roll, I test on Snake Eyes and I roll Snake Eyes. So it's, this is a weird situation where I'm stuck in a challenge that I'm never, I only have 1 attack, so that's never really going to end except with my guy breaking from combat and getting run down. But that's that's my general against his level 2 in a challenge with insane heroism holding the line. This is Empire turn 5. The Demigryphs flank charge the Pegasus Knights, cause a ton of wounds on the Pegasus Knights unit. The sword, the Empire Wizard and the Bretonnian Wizard do no wounds. He is not steadfast despite losing combat. I have +1 for charging. I have a flank. I have a banner. And I charged downhill, plus all the wounds caused. He caused no wounds in return. Loses combat, fails his leadership check, runs. The Pegasus Knights hold, so I can't pursue with the Wizard, although that would have been absolutely hilarious to see the Wizard chopping down 50-something peasants. But yeah, so now I'm out of the challenge, locked in combat with my general and the Demigryphs on the Pegasus Knights. Now I don't know if you've been counting, the game's basically over at this point, points wise. But we just keep going because it's the first time with Bretonnia I got to really see what's going on with this army. The Knights of the Realm and the Errant Knights completely break the Swordsman, run them down. That actually happened last turn. I didn't have a good picture of it. And now they've both reformed and turned to face the combat. This is Anthony's turn 5. The Peasants rally and reform to face, and the Realm Knights rally and have come back around now. I don't really have anything for the Pistoliers to do. I could have charged the fleeing peasants, but they rallied before I had a chance. Yeah, I'd gotten the withering off on the peasants, I think. Not that it made a huge difference. Here we go. He's lining up around my general and the Demigryphs. In Magic, he gets regrowth off and regrows a Pegasus Knight. But the Demigryphs promptly killed him anyway. So I reform for turn 6 to have the Demigryphs facing the peasants and the Knights of the Realm, and the Wizard Lord facing away so that he can move. He can move and run away. So this is what the table looks like at the beginning of Empire turn 6, top of turn 6. As you can see, I'm very close to being tabled, but for shits and giggles, we're just going to follow it through to the end. The Demigryphs declare a charge on the Realm Knights. The Realm Knights have already broken. They've already lost their blessing. Who cares? So Anthony flees with them just to save points. I redirect into the peasants, and my general scoots around. He marches through the forest, and then button hooks at the end. Since he's only one model, it's not, you know, it's not a big wheel or anything. So that he's got the everything in his front arc. Throw 6 dice at Pit of Shades, get it off, it's on target, and it kills everyone except a character. All the characters make their lookouts or saves on that unit. So he's got 1 knight left, and the characters in that unit. That was really just for spite. The game's basically over. I mean, if I suck down his level 4 or his Lord, then that's some points, but I don't believe it's enough points to make up for losing the Great Swords, the Inner Circle Knights, and all of my support stuff. But, you know, we let people get last licks. It doesn't really make a difference. The Demiurge kill the damsel, cause a bunch of wounds on the peasants. The peasants cause no wounds in return. Break from combat. Flee. But they outrun the Demiurge even with swift strides, so nothing happens. I position the Pistoliers in front of the character block with the Realm Knight. They shoot, and in shooting, kill that remaining Realm Knight. So that's some points. Again, not enough to make a difference in the course of the game. And he can't complete a charge against the Lord there without contacting the Pistoliers. So in Bretonnia, turn 6, Anthony declares a charge on my Lord with his Lord charging out of the block. And I roll, I choose to flee. I flee like 8 inches. He rolls like 6 inches for his charge distance. So here's the end of the game. Crushing victory for Bretonnia. He still has 1 Knight of the Realm unit, 1 Knights Errant, and the peasants. He's got all of his characters except for the level 2 Lore of Beast still alive. I'm not really, you know, nitpicking about points. I know that I only have like 500 or 600 points out of my 2,500 point list left alive. Anthony has easily over 1,000. So it's crushing victory. Here's the final disposition of the board. I have a couple thoughts, and I've been trying to think about what I could do besides just not allowing my guys to get charged and hammered like that. What I'm thinking is, if I'm in a combat without a killing blow Lord in it, or somebody who's going to really slap around my dudes, always issue challenges, especially with the Warrior Priest, because it's very important for the Warrior Priest at least to live through 1 turn to deliver hatred. If they can get their prayers off, the prayers will last even if the Warrior Priest dies, but hatred, they need to stay alive. So Bretonnia can't turn down its challenges, otherwise it loses its Blessing of the Lady. They always have to accept. That's a good way to limit the number of attacks coming at the Warrior Priest. And even if they have just pure mundane gear, a 4-up armor save and then a parry, they're still likely to last against 2 attacks on horse kick. So there's that. That's something I got to keep in mind. I got to keep the siege tank away from the Lord. 7 attacks with heroic killing blow. It's just extremely likely. And if I can get it in contact with literally any other unit in his army, it will do its job, and they'll just sit there having a tickle fight for the rest of the game. Shadow is just not a great lore against Bretonnia. Yeah, you can get Pit of Shades off. Yeah, you can get Occam's Mind Razor off. But Anthony's no fool. He's going to save his Dispel Scroll for something that really matters. And if I'm throwing 6 dice at a spell and it doesn't go off, I mean, that's really what I was counting on when I flank charged his Lord's unit with my Swordsman. 11 strength, 10 attacks might have turned the tide of this battle, but unfortunately I can't count, even on 6 dice, getting Occam's Mind Razor off without it being dispelled. You know, I believe Anthony just rolled 2 6s to dispel it, and that's that. And then I lost my chance. So I mean, Shadow's a really great all-around spell, but Bretonnia is already pretty low strength and toughness, and has mediocre weapon skill and initiative on everything but like its characters. Plus, everybody's got a 5-up ward save against strength 5. I just, I'm considering moving on to the lore of Metal or Death. Metal is like custom tailored for screwing with Bretonnia, and that feels a little cheesy, but Lore of Death has a lot of character killing spells, and Anthony's tactic of sticking a bunch of 1-up rerollable armor saves in the front rank of Lance formation is really sound. Once Bitten's used that to great effect in his Bretonnian battle reports. Death will let me pick out those units. Aspect of the Dread Knight's not great, so that I would probably swap down for the signature spell. Purple Sun is nasty no matter who you are. And what's the other one? Aspect of the Dread Knight not great. But Doom and Darkness on his guys, he kind of counts on having a clustered battle line around the general for leadership 10, having this guy start with leadership 7 before combat modifiers could help. I mean, I wouldn't rely on it or anything, but that's a nice spell to have. I look at what the army's strengths are, and I don't see Shadow making a huge difference with the exception of Occam's. And you might not roll Occam's, A, and B, it's, you know, when your opponent only has to save to dispel one spell, you can't count on ever having it. My Knight unit, I kind of feel like it needs a revamp. I've been feeling like that for a while. Anthony made a good point that they only need to take a single casualty to lose the rank bonus. So maybe I'll just cut that down to, like, say, 11, run it in 2 ranks of 6 just to maximize attacks. Or maybe I'll do something else with it. I'm not really sure. I hate running just, you know, the bare bases, but it's such a pain to put together. Plus, I have a lot of trouble coming up with the time for that during the week between work and the baby. My artillery consistently underperforms. The cannon caused like maybe 1 wound all game. And, you know, I've run it now in several games against several different armies. And 1 cannon by itself just is not very reliable, even if it has eligible targets. So I don't know. I might drop it, use some of these points to pick up an engineer and a Hellblaster. That'll certainly act as a huge deterrent. Even to Pegasus Knights, because I know with skirmishing, they're harder to hit. But if they do get hit, they're going to get annihilated with Strength 5 armor-piercing shots. So, something to think about. Anthony played a great game. This goes a long way towards ameliorating the frustration you feel playing with a really random army like Orcs and Goblins. And it was great to see a new army, a new strategy, and to have just something else, you know, some new meat to chew on, so to speak, with some new things to think about. I hope to get more games in, and we're going to continue to work on the armies so that they're not a complete embarrassment with bare plastic and unpainted stuff and all that. But like I said, it's hard to find time, and I think that recording the battle reports helps me to organize my thoughts and helps me to improve my game. So that's something that I kind of prioritize over spending more time putting together models. I hope you guys enjoyed the battle report. I hope to record another one this weekend with Mike's Ogres, and always trying to get more games in with Anthony versus various armies. So there you go. Hope you liked it. Have a good one.